Hello and welcome to your first video on what a flipped classroom is going to look like. I know that we're going to be watching this one in class, but this will give you an idea of what you'll have to watch at home, and sometimes it'll be ones that are made like this, or sometimes we'll be watching YouTube videos depending on whether I like the way they explain it to you or not. But this one's going to start our Algebra 1 unit, Understanding Numbers. Now, we don't necessarily have a standard for this, but this is going to be a prerequisite for 1.3, which is going to help us with our equations. So in this video, we're going to talk about vocabulary. I know it says activity, but I don't have a smartboard in the class, so it kind of won't let me do that, but I'm going to give you a little bit more vocabulary via an activity. So vocabulary, the first thing is variable. Okay, variable is a lot of things. Most often what you see in class is you see it as a letter, but it doesn't have to always be that way. It can be a symbol, it can also be a letter, but what we know about a variable is what it represents. It represents something that we don't know. So if we don't know what a quantity is, we use a variable. Again, it can be a symbol or it can be a letter. So with this activity here, I set it up so that we can decide, what do you think? Do you think it's a variable yes or no? So let's start with what we know pretty simple. Our most common variable is x. So that one is a variable. We also have, pretty common to see y or a. 9 is a number. Numbers are not variables, they're numbers themselves. So anytime you see a number, those are not going to be variables. And then what I kind of have left are pictures, drawings, symbols. Even if it doesn't look like it is, those can represent an unknown if you want it to. Now most of the time in algebra we're going to show those with variables like a or x. But if you want it to be a dragon, you can make your variable a dragon. If you want a snake or a butterfly, smiley face, doesn't really matter. A variable is just a symbol of some sort that is representing an unknown number. So if I click solve, we can see if I set that up right. Okay. This part of the vocabulary is talking about these words up at the top here. I'm trying to find my highlighter. Algebraic expressions and numeric expressions. Okay, so go on what you know. Numerical means number. So if you see something that is just numbers, well, that would be a numerical expression. So I've got a couple numbers here. I'm just going to drop that in. If it spits it back out, I'm wrong. So if I tried this b, this isn't a number, but I'm going to try to put it in numerical. It's going to give it back to me because that's not a number. 27 has a number in it, so we could try that. But it's not going to let me because it's not just a number, it has an unknown, a variable. Here's just numbers. Algebraic expressions is when you have an unknown, so you're going to have a variable of some sort. It can be a variable by itself. Can be a variable with a number. Can be a combination of a few numbers and a variable, or a bunch of variables, but those are all algebraic expressions.